Hey, everybody. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Just wanted to check in with everybody about what's going on with your autoimmunity. What's happening with the symptoms that we're dealing with? And where are we in the process of trying to figure this out? Have we figured this out? Have you figured out, what is your trigger? What do you think started all of this? I really want to know what is happening and how you all are doing with your symptoms. It feels like a lot of people are getting autoimmune markers. They're actually coming back with some autoimmune markers, but yet not everybody is getting like a proper diagnosis of actually what's going on. So, kind of wondering where you guys are with that process and how are we doing with a diagnosis? Are we getting diagnosed? Do we have do we have like ANA markers and we don't know what that means? Do you have ANA markers that have a pattern that we're not really sure about? Have you been diagnosed with Hashimoto's? Do we have a few people popping in that we're talking about rheumatoid arthritis as well? And there's so many autoimmune conditions that it's kind of hard to track, like where all of these autoimmune conditions are and what is actually happening with everybody. So lots and lots of ANA markers. So lots of different, there's the speckled and the homogeneous. And okay, Lucy's got Hashimoto's. Thanks for weighing in. So a few things about Hashimoto's. Let's just talk about that for a second, since you're up first. So Hashimoto's, the immune system's attacking the thyroid, right? So the T4 usually goes down. And so usually at some point, you're going to have to be on some medication, some T4, maybe some T3, Synthroid, levothyroxine, something like that. Now, a couple other things that happen when you have your T4 coming down, when you have Hashimoto's, you will not have as strong of a digestion as you usually do. Your hydrochloric acid could be low in your stomach. So you might feel like it's hard to break down protein. It feels like it sits in my stomach and doesn't break down. You might feel like you get more reflux than normal. You might feel like your motility gets really slow. You can get a lot of constipation because your T4 coming out of your thyroid, right? The T4 that comes out drives your motility, drives your hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Now, and Lucy, my levels are okay, but I always feel really bad. Okay, so what really bad are we talking about? Exhaustion, fatigue, joint pain, all the different things that can happen. You can have hair loss, you can lose the outer edges of your eyebrows, because just because your T4 is okay, and if you're on medication, okay, doesn't mean that you feel great. So here's what I find with when your immune system, so we're giving you're taking T4, you probably Synthroid, and that can restore some of it. So we have to kind of see like where your T4 levels are and where your T3 levels are, which is interesting. So the T4, they give you T4, that's the what that comes out of the thyroid. Now you have to convert that T4 into T3 in your intestines, in your liver. You have to do that. That's the usable form. So it will be interesting, Lucy, for you to get checked for free T4 and free T3 to see if you're actually converting T4 to T3. That's one error I see, is like the T4 could be fine. Okay. I also developed like a lace pattern in my legs, like bad circulation. Okay. Yes, that you can get that sort of weird, like blood vessel-y, lacy look for sure. So here's something that I see with Hashimoto. I mean, a couple of things that we want to think about. So we want to think about, I really want you to be on selenium, 200 micrograms a day, Lucy, okay? It quiets down the thyroid peroxidase. When your immune system is attacking your thyroid, you release this thing called thyroid peroxidase. And that just shows like destruction of your thyroid. Okay, so that thyroid peroxidase can create a lot of havoc. It's a weird thing. So it actually it's called TPO. If you have it on your labs, it'll say TPO. That TPO actually goes and attaches to the back of the midline cerebellum in your brain and can make you feel dizzy, vertigo, anxious, weird in crowds, like you feel like you can't quite deal with crowds, like that makes you really anxious. I don't know if that's happening to you, but that's a big part that I see of Hashimoto's. You can feel really overwhelmed. you can feel like really off. Now, also, your joints can feel really achy and sore. Sometimes with Hashimoto's, we have to figure out what your food triggers are. So the number one and number two things I see food triggers are gluten and dairy. Let me tell you what that means by food triggers. So that means that when you eat that food causes your immune system to react and attack your thyroid. So the weird thing about the protein of wheat, which is gluten, and the protein of dairy, which is casein, is that they have this thing called molecular mimicry. They look a lot like the thyroid tissue. Isn't that weird? It's the weirdest thing. And it happens throughout our body, actually. It's not just the thyroid, it's with the other tissues too. So when you eat those foods, your immune system will get more active. It'll destroy your thyroid more. And then you'll get more TPO on the back of your brain. And the more you feel vertigo, you might feel anxious. You might just not feel good at all. The other really, really big thing with Hashimoto's is that we need you to be on vitamin D. Like it's like a good amount. I need you to be on 5,000 IUs every single day. So this is an immune system modulator. Okay. So the immune system is overactive and it chills the immune system out. So two things, Lucy, I want you to be on with Hashimoto's. I want you to be on selenium, 200 micrograms a day. And I want you to be on vitamin D, 5,000 IUs every day. Okay. So those are the two things I want to think about. And I want you to start thinking about foods. What could be triggering you? When you eat certain foods, does it trigger you? I want you to think about the top 5 are gluten and dairy, corn, soy, and egg. Maybe. Doesn't have to be all of those. But also nightshades can be a problem. Like you might eat peppers and tomatoes and eggplant and go, ooh, this hurts my joints a lot. And that's a thing. So this is the next thing we need to think about is go through and figure out what your food triggers are. Okay, just a quick question about what can they do for hyperthyroidism? So the hyperthyroidism is called Graves. That means that the immune system, this is still an autoimmune condition. The immune system is attacking the thyroid, and your thyroid then has gone a little crazy and it releases too much thyroid hormone. So they have to do some things to calm that down. Now, they can do radioactive iodine. Sometimes they take part of the thyroid out. They have to get that to slow down. It becomes an emergency when you have hyperthyroidism. It makes your eyes kind of buggy out. It can make your heart race. It can make you have a heart attack. So it's kind of like we got to urgently like calm that down. But also I want you to realize that you have autoimmunity. So you do have an autoimmune situation happening that's attacking your thyroid. Someone on YouTube just says, can you discuss MS? You're up next. Yeah, Lucy, you're welcome. I'm happy to help if you feel like, hang on, let me just talk about Lucy here real quick because we were talking about her. Overwhelming and foggy mind and anxiety. You do take B1, B12. Okay, so I do need you, Lucy, I want you to be on, 5,000 IUs. Thank you for the compliment on my hair. I want you to be on 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. Okay, every day. And I want your vitamin D to get up to 70, 80, or 90. Now, if you look at your blood work, oftentimes the vitamin D is down at like 30 or 20. Okay, that vitamin D is an immune system calmer. So we have to have that up. Okay, don't be afraid of getting it up to 70, 80, or 90. Okay, so that's going to be really important. And then should we request the whole body blood selenium or serum selenium test, which is more accurate? I like to look at the red blood cell, selenium, RBC. So what's actually arriving onto the cell, right? That's something that's important. So let me do a quick conversation about MS from YouTube. So multiple sclerosis. Okay. So that's the immune system is overactive. Like this is all of autoimmunity, right? The immune system is overactive and attacking you somewhere. Now it has chosen like the myelin sheath. So if this is a nerve, then what it's wrapped in is called the myelin sheath. It's a fatty kind of sheath, and it makes the electricity through your nerves go really fast. If that myelin sheath gets damaged, it's slow to get the message there. That's what MS is. It will attack the myelin in your brain, in your spinal cord, in the peripheral nerves, okay, all over the place. So we have to figure out a couple things with that one. With MS, we want to make sure your vitamin D is at 70, 80, or 90. It's the cheapest, easiest thing you can do right away. Get your vitamin D up, get it at 70, 80, or 90. Like make sure you're doing that solidly. Also, with MS, we got to figure out your food triggers because that's a big food trigger condition. Oftentimes it can be triggered by Epstein-Barr. It can be triggered by COVID. It could be triggered. Sometimes it has a viral base to it, but then the immune system is like attacking you. So there's a very important test I want you to do. It just says Baker's Creations, talking to you for MS. I would do a test through a company called Cyrex. It's Cyrex. Cyrex, they specialize in autoimmunity and food triggers for autoimmunity. A bunch of immunologists have created this company, and it's spectacular. I do a lot of testing through them. And what you can do is you can do testing, a whole panel that says what antibodies has been made in your body. Like, are you making antibodies toward MS? Are you making antibodies toward Hashimoto's or for Graves, or for if it was, your gut lining on, absorbing like B12, and it would be any kind of autoimmunity, any kind of lupus or Sjogren's or anything like that. So you can figure out what antibodies you have towards your body. Also, though, I want you to figure out what kind of food triggers you have, because MS, she says she's taking vitamin D, 10,000 IUs daily. Yay, good start. I want you to do some blood work at some point and make sure you're absorbing it. If you can't absorb it, we want you to get on a liquid one that you can get yourself up to 70, 80, or 90. Let's look for that, okay? Also, I want you to think about food triggers for MS. Gluten and dairy are number 1 and number 2, okay? I say food triggers, which means it makes your immune system more active to attack you, okay? Other things that are specific for MS is, let's see, soy can be specific for MS. Let me think. Oh my gosh, am I going to remember all? Spinach can be a trigger. Tomato can be a trigger. Spinach, tomato, corn can be a trigger. So here's what I would run. I would run a Cyrex panel on you that just looks at food triggers, IgG and IgA food triggers, to just see what your immune system is upset about and take those foods out, because it'll calm your immune system down. Okay. So that's a big deal. There's a lot to talk about with autoimmunity. I mean, listen, I could talk about this all day. Lucy says, yes, but I'm also autistic, so it's hard for me to differentiate. Got it. Okay, but yeah, this is adding a layer of complication to your brain, right? That you don't feel good. So, and let's see, Callie Parisi says, can you have these antibodies and normal thyroid labs and have symptoms? Yes, that's a really, really great question. So remember, in your pituitary signals the thyroid with thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, right? This is the message. Comes from your pituitary, goes to the thyroid. The thyroid releases T4. And then in your body, it converts into T3. Okay, that's the active form of thyroid hormone. So you're going to want to watch TSH, free T4, free T3. And then if you have antibodies and these labs look really normal, amazing. You're in the early stages of this. So we would like to keep it that way. Okay. So we want to figure out how in the world do we keep this immune system steady and calm so that it stops attacking me? That's the question. Okay. So you have antibodies. So we want to be cautious about this. I would consider figuring out what food triggers you have. Here's a couple ways you could do it. You could do a Cyrex panel, just like I was saying, from this person here on YouTube as well. That you could do an autoimmune paleo diet too, which is a super weird, strict diet for just a few weeks. It's not permanent. It's not permanent, but it does take out all the food triggers. So here's what you would do. And this is something that you could do. Look up autoimmune paleo or AIP. And you're taking out all the grains. You're taking out dairy. You're taking out eggs. You're taking out nightshades and lectins, which are nuts and seeds and peas and peanuts, pretty much. Okay. Now you're eating just like meats and vegetables for a little while. And you want to just kind of be very boring for a few days, for, I don't know, a week at minimum. Some people do it for a few weeks, and watch what happens. Notice if your joints feel better. Notice if your body feels better, if your energy feels better. Amazing. Then we're going to slowly reintroduce foods, right? We might slowly put in like a tomato. See how it makes you feel. What about an eggplant? What about a pepper, right? These are all part of nightshades. Potatoes are in that category as well. You feel fine? Amazing. Those foods are back in. Okay. And then you're going to go, let's bring in some nuts and seeds one at a time, right? And see how it makes you feel. You will notice if you put something back in, like let's say you put in corn or you put in eggs and you're like, oh my gosh, that made my joints hurt. Take it back out. This is called elimination provocation diet. Okay. So it's an AIP diet. That's something you can do. Okay. You can also spend some money. It's about $500 to run a test through Cyrex, and they will tell you what food triggers you are experiencing. Especially if you try this, you try to figure this out, and you're like, I can't figure it out. Then we can always do a test like that. That's not hard. Okay. So, but Callie Parisi, your thyroid is still doing okay. Great. I love that. Now we need to keep it steady. Okay. Because as it attacks over time, it will lower in function. Okay. So you can get your immune system to back off and calm down. That's the goal, right? That's the entire goal of what I'm talking about. So, what I'm saying is that what I do, and this is what I do, this is what I am doing is there's so much to tell you guys. It's like I don't know how to say it all in one, like I can't tell you all the things, right? I mean, plastics are a trigger, right? Get off of plastic water bottles, right? Let's get you having cleaner water with like a reverse osmosis water system or something on your countertop or under your sink. These are big triggers, right? Heavy metals are big triggers. Epstein-Barr is a big trigger. COVID's a big trigger. So I made a series of videos and talking about all the things. I just poured out my brain into these videos. Like, what do people need to know? You can watch all these videos and go, oh, at the end of that, you go, I think it was a COVID trigger. And I think I have food issues and I have bloating and my digestion doesn't work. Amazing. Yay. You figured it out. You tell me that. And I have a whole autoimmune support group. So we figure it out. You have links to supplements all the way through these videos. You have links if you need to get labs done. And then you can come visit with me on a Zoom on like one day, like for an hour on Zoom, and then with a few other people, and we all talk about it. Like, what are we doing about this? What's our strategies? And everybody works toward getting everybody better. It's very cool. So it's a very inexpensive program I put together. It's in my link tree in my bio. It's called the Autoimmune Shift. Pop over if you want. I'm doing Friday mornings right now at 11 a.m. I'm thinking about doing a Tuesday at 4 because I want to capture everybody like right after they get off of work. So let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to make it so I have a Tuesday earlier group that's full, but I'm just trying to make another group because they're working so well and everybody's starting to feel so much better. You guys just need support, by the way. You need a lot of answers. You need support. You guys are all really smart. You're so well versed in all these things that you just need some guidance, right? And that's what I'm trying to do is just create some guidance for you guys. The tests for hypothyroidism. So you want to run TSH, free T4. That's what comes out of your thyroid, right? Free T3. And then I want you to run the autoimmune markers, okay? So the Hashimoto's markers are thyroglobulin antibodies, and then thyroid peroxidase antibodies, or TPO, thyroid peroxidase antibodies. Now, the thyroid antibodies say, I'm going to attack, I have tagged this for attack. The thyroid peroxidase says, I am currently actively attacking. Okay, so you can watch that number and it can tell you how are you doing, right? You make some changes. We put in vitamin D, maybe we take out gluten, maybe you feel a little better. We figure out other triggers. Maybe you have a viral trigger. Maybe you have other chemical triggers that you're being exposed to every day. I don't know. That's what we have to dig out. And then we watch that number and we can watch it come down. Okay, that's what we do. So what other questions do you guys have? You guys have some good questions. Hi, Orange Skywalker. Welcome back. Autoimmune retinopathy, what test? That's a really good question. I actually don't know if that comes out as an ANA because I don't know. You know what? I can look on Claude though, because damn, Claude, she's cool. She's a cool gal. We can find out. Not everybody has a positive antibody autoimmune marker, which makes it really hard, right? So this is why, sorry, I need to get to my, okay, there it is. So let's look it up. Autoimmune retinopathy, and ANA question mark, because I don't know about that one. There's so many, you guys. It just gets, it's like, listen, it's overwhelming. So let's see if Claude can tell us some answers. Now, and what's weird is that sometimes you'll have like a positive ANA, and then you'll have a few different markers, and that can indicate something different than if you have another integration of different patterns, right? It gets really complicated. I have some very good rheumatology friends that are like, man, this stuff is so complex, right? It's wild. So it looks like it has, ANA is not the primary diagnostic in this. They're looking at anti-retinal antibodies. So you're going to have to go to a rheumatologist to say, I need to order these specific anti-retinal antibodies. Yeah. Sometimes other things, like sometimes this is associated with lupus. So you might have lupus markers with this. You might not, right? So that's something that's kind of interesting. So yeah, these things get complicated. Sometimes the immune system is attacking markers that says I am this, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not specific enough. So we have to find it. Oh, Chris Lynn, yeah, that AIP is amazing. I'll tell you, autoimmune paleo is amazing. You have food triggers when you have autoimmunity. You just do. You have no idea that they're happening, and they're making you tired, and they're making you flare up. So you might eat a food and then you might feel like, oh my gosh, I got a rash from that food. Or you might feel like I just got really tired, or my joints hurt, or I don't know. There's a lot of really weird symptoms when it comes to autoimmunity. So food is a big deal. So when you eat something and you have this reaction, it's triggering you every single day, and it's driving your immune system crazy. So it's causing the attack of whatever it is that your immune system is attacking. Chris Lynn, yes, the Zoom is the same day every week. I am recording it and posting it. So it's through this app that's called Kajabi, and it has a feed on it, kind of like a Facebook feed, but it's our own private feed. So you can post things and you can answer questions through the week to the community and to me. So those are fun things you can do. I'm posting the Zoom recorded on that, so you can always watch it again. Sometimes I wind up just like this, like answering tons of questions. So it's nice to be able to zoom in and be able to answer your own question. Or you can say, hey, I can't get on the Zoom. Here's a question I have and I can address it. So I have been doing 11 o'clock on Fridays Pacific, but I'm thinking about doing a 4 o'clock on Tuesdays Pacific, which would be 4 o'clock in California, 5, 6, 7 through the country. So I'm just trying to find times that work for everybody, right? It's hard to figure out, but I don't want work to be in the way, right? I really want just you would be able to be on it when you need to get on it. So Chrislyn, if you want to join, come on over. There's a link tree. A lot of you guys popped into my link tree a couple weeks ago, and something was broken in there, and it was super frustrating. So you can pop back in, and it's like $50 a month. I think it's $50 a month if you do a whole year, or if it's like $59 a month if you don't. I'm trying to make it really inexpensive to have 4 Zooms a month with me, plus the videos, plus there's all these links to supplements in there. And I give everybody a 20% discount on any supplement. So you can, and I give you all the links through Fullscript. So it's easy for you to get supplements you need that are good quality and you're not paying extra. Oh my gosh, there's so much, we're spending so much money on supplements, right? Okay. Let's see what else. So autoimmunity, lots and lots and lots of you guys have Hashimoto's for sure. Okay, what else? I'm in California, Chrislyn. Tuesday is good, Wasa. Okay, Tuesday at 4 o'clock Pacific would be okay. I just really want to make sure that everybody can pop in, right? I'd really rather people be live and not have to watch a recorded something, because I want you to be on, be able to ask your questions. So yeah, if that works for you guys, I feel like that might be easier, and I'm good with that. Whatever works for you guys. Okay. Epstein-Barr virus inactivation. What is the advice? Okay. Oh, Epstein-Barr. God, we hate you guys. We hate that Epstein-Barr, right? It's so bad. I mean, did you guys all have mono as a teen or early 20s person? That's Epstein-Barr is also mono. So it's the sleeping sickness. It makes you it's the kissing disease, whatever. It's very, very contagious. I'd say, in the most contagious viruses that everybody's pretty much had, Epstein-Barr is number one. So H. pylori is a bacteria that can also be really contagious, can also drive autoimmunity, but Epstein-Barr, 95% of people have antibodies. So most of you have had this. So when your immune system gets taxed, this virus can become active again. Epstein-Barr is kind of like you wrestle it and fight it when you're a teenager, right? And you put it into dormancy, you put it in the basement, you shut the door. And then when you run yourself down and you get exhausted and you get overstressed and you're not taking care of yourself, that door can crack open and here it comes. And you feel that same stuff. You feel the lymph node swelling. You might get a fever. You might just be so exhausted. And when you do the blood test, you're looking for IgM is active. IgG and IgA tend to be like, hey, I saw this before, I made antibodies, but it's not active. So if you feel like your virus is active, there's a lot of things we need to consider. So first, are you run down? Second, how are you eating as far as your protein levels and your vegetables and actually making your meals and getting good nutrition, right? We need to have your vitamin D at like 70, 80, or 90, okay? Also, monolaurin and lysine can help. I do like a lauracine supplement, Laurisine, lauracine. It's called ecological formulas. I think I can send you a link if you need it. That one's helpful. But also, I need you to kind of I need to look at your blood work, right? Because let's say it's showing that you're really inflamed or that your blood sugar is really high. When your blood sugar spikes high, it drives inflammation, and that can drive your immune system to get really depleted, right? So that you're not rallying a response really well. So it's kind of that's a big question, right? Like what's happening? I mean, there are a few magic herbs, right, that can be helpful, but also it's often how much sleep are you getting? Do you have sleep apnea? Are you feeling rested when you wake up? Can you wear like an Aura ring and maybe see how you're sleeping? Is that working okay? So I kind of want to go through you with like a fine tooth comb and say, what is happening that made this mono reactivate? So I hope that helps. Vitamin C is always helpful. Vitamin D is always helpful, but sleep, just sleep is legit. Okay, Tiffany wants to know, are there any vitamins you take daily? Yeah, for sure. Vitamin D. I take a vitamin D with a K2, vitamin D3, K2. I take a vitamin D Supreme. It's by Designs for Health. There's a bunch of good ones. I also will take, in the spring, I take a vitamin C with bioflavonoids because I tend to get a little bit of allergies. Other things I take are not, I take a B complex. That's a definite one I take. And I take a multi-mineral for bone density and such, just for having minerals. I don't take calcium. They don't recommend calcium anymore, straight up, because it's kind of creating some blockages. It's landing in our hearts a little bit. So we want to be careful about that. I take a lot of things. Take a tributrin, which is a butyrate propionate acetate. It's a short chain fatty acid that helps to grow the microbiome. I take magnesium at night, like a little combo of glycinate and citrate and whatnot. It's kind of a go. I just take so much stuff. My gosh, it's crazy. Okay, Crystalline says, if I'm not converting T4 to T3, is it guaranteed I need thyroid medication? Not necessarily. There's a great supplement called ThyroCNV by Apex Energetics, and it helps you to convert T4 to T3. So I'd probably send you a link to that first, and then see if you can get yourself converting best. 25% of people do not convert T4 to T3 well. They just don't. So that's something to think about. You could try something like that. You could even try some selenium and some vitamin D. That might help with your conversion. I would definitely get on a B complex. That can be really helpful too. So it seems like that covers a lot of the bases. If you want a link to ThyroCNV, let me know. Just give me your email and I can send you a link. Also, if you do that and the T3 does not come up, you might need to be on a T4, T3 combo, or you might need to be on like a Cytomel. Cytomel is the prescription for T3. So that might be something that's helpful. Lisa wants to know, does someone with autoimmune disease react poorly to taking magnesium glycinate? Not usually. No, I usually find that's a pretty easy one for people to take. I'll tend to have people take a couple of them at night before you go to bed because it helps you to sleep and it helps your muscles to relax. It's really nice. I mean, there are people that have different reactions to different products. If you're having a reaction to a product, I mean, I want to think about what's in the fillers. Is it kind of a cheaper made product? Is it not like a good design or good quality? We want to think about that. What is a good Akkermansia probiotic? Okay. Sarah, I really like Pendulum. I think Pendulum is crushing it right now with Akkermansia. Akkermansia is really, really hard to get in a supplement because you have to do it in a non-oxygen environment. Like, how hard is that? So they made a whole chamber where they put together these products, no oxygen, and they are very successful in getting it in there, and it's delivering well into the gut. So there's a Metabolic Daily Pro. There's just a straight up Akkermansia product. It's all by Pendulum. I like to do the blend. I think that the Metabolic Daily or Metabolic Daily Pro, I like Akkermansia to be with its little friends so that they can, I mean, I think they have a lot of synergistic effects. I don't know that we just need to do Akkermansia by itself because there's so many probiotics, right? Okay. So Wasa says my ANA is 1 in 160. So tell me, Wasa, what your pattern is. Do you know? Is it homogeneous? Is it speckled? Is it nuclear dense fine speckled? Tell me what you know about that. Liza wants to know what to take for MCAS. Okay, MCAS. So that means you get hives really easily at the drop of a hat. One thing I find with MCAS is there's one of two things happening. One, you can have hypermobility syndrome, right? You have hypermobile joints. Are you really flexible? You'll know that for sure. If you aren't, it might be leaky gut that you have. And oftentimes people with hypermobility have MCAS and they also have leaky gut. So we need to think about the gut lining needs to be like sealed. It's like a sealed tube, right? It's like sealed. It's not open. It's not like open like this. So, but when you have like hypermobility, like let's say your shoulders are really flexible or your hips are really flexible or your knees like kind of go knock kneed or your elbows get really weirdly hypermobile, you can put your finger back on into here. This tells me that your tissues are kind of like loose collagen and they're not tight collagen. So the loose collagen is also what your gut can be made of. And then you have these things underneath the collagen that are like mast cells and they're easy to trigger. And then you can get a flare. So you get like a hive. You can have hives in your gut lining too, by the way. So a lot of people with this sort of IBS, like what's happening, you could have hives in your gut lining. Yeah, for sure. So those are all things to think about. So when you have hives, you might have leaky gut. It might be kind of open. And here's how I like to test for leaky gut. I like to test through a company called Cyrex with a Cyrex, right? So Cyrex is a company that will do a blood test and they're looking for occludin. They're looking for zonulin. Those are more simple leaky gut. They're also looking for something called LPS, lipopolysaccharides. LPS means that there's a bad critter that's stuck in the lining of your gut and is opening it up. It's usually gram negative, E. coli, C. diff, Shiga, I don't know, lots of different things. You could have gotten food poisoning and then you're like, I don't know, I got food poisoning, my gut hurt for a while, and now I have hives. That could be a story. So I would test you for leaky gut with hives. So I would do that, but also we're getting to the root cause, right? But also quercetin can be extremely helpful with hives. Quercetin with a Q, Quercetin. So quercetin's helpful. There's a gal on TikTok here, Caitlin Hubbard. She specializes in MCAS and hives. She's awesome to listen to. She's a PhD in neurobiology, I don't know, something. Anyway, she's really cool. She talked about stabilizing mast cells with medications, and I'll just tell you what she says because I wrote it down. So she wants you to be on an H1 and an H2 blocker. H1 is going to be Zyrtec or Allegra, and H2 could be like Prilosec. Now that's kind of short-termy to try to calm it down while we're trying to figure out root cause, right? But also quercetin, 2,000 milligrams a day, 1,000 in the morning, 1,000 in the evening, luteolin, or sometimes DAO enzyme. That was from her. There's other medications, cromolyn, ketofen, LDN, those can be helpful. But yeah, let's figure that out. So let's see, Jules, positive ANA when first diagnosed with celiac. And then once I went gluten-free, it was negative. That's awesome. That's amazing. That's so good. So this is the goal. This is the whole goal, is to say, what is driving this ANA, right? If we can figure out how to shift your ANA, downshift it, even if it doesn't go fully negative, that's winning. That means we're not loading this disease, we're reversing it, right? A lot of times you guys are coming in with ANAs that are early times, early, not quite diagnosed yet. That this can be early evolving, right? So we want to be like, yeah, let's stop evolving. Let's start turning this back. Okay. So this is awesome. Great. I love that. Okay. What does sigma-1 do in the interplastic reticulum, mitochondria for nerve growth and connection, etc.? I don't know. Theory smasher. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. I don't know. I know what I know. Some things I don't know. Lisa, my ANA is 1 in 80 positive. HLA-B27 gene and uveitis, other text negative. Okay. So HLA-B27 is quite a gene. It really does drive some autoimmune things, right? It can drive ankylosing spondylitis. It can drive all sorts of autoimmune joint things. So other tests are negative, but you have uveitis. So this could be Reiter's, it could be ankylosing spondylitis, it could be a lot of things. This one's tricky to diagnose because you have to have a person in front of you. We have to like inspect all your joints. We got to look at your blood work. If you feel like everything else is negative, great, but you do have a positive ANA. So I'd be interested to know what that ANA pattern is, even though it's low positive. ANA is 1 in 80 is a little low positive, but you still seemed like you have a lot of overlapping symptoms. So we want to think about, yes, getting a diagnosis is important, right? But also you have autoimmunity and your immune system's attacking you. So we have to start figuring out some strategies on calming this down. So I have a lot of my patients, like I have a few ankylosing spondylitis patients, and not saying that you have that for sure, but that's a part of the HLA-B27. It could be like a differential diagnosis. But gluten and dairy removal has been super, super helpful for them. Getting on glutathione has been really helpful. It's a very strong antioxidant, and that is going to calm down your immune system. It's an immune system modulator. So is vitamin D, right? So vitamin D is going to be an immune system modulator. So is glutathione. And if we can figure out your food triggers, we can start calming this down, right? And then we can figure out other things that could be triggering you. Oftentimes, if the blood sugar is spiking or getting too high, it can drive this immune system to attack you even more. Dropping blood sugar and having too much hypoglycemia, running out of fuel can be a big trigger. It's very stressful for your body. Okay. So lots and lots of things. Okay. Yes, Chris Lynn. So 4 Pacific would work. That would be 7 Eastern. Yes. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. That's absolutely right. I want to have a time that everybody can hop on live if possible. So that's what I'm working on. Okay. It's funny how AI is popping on to this thread suggesting I talk about that. Isn't that funny? Like, I'm good. AI, leave me alone. I'm good. Okay. What else? Sorry, I lost my place. Okay, perfect. So, what else? Does anyone else have problem with anxiety with Hashimoto's? Okay. So Tammy, let me tell you what's happening. And I don't know if you were here before, but Hashimoto's is really, really wild that it has this specific trigger for anxiety. And let me tell you the mechanism. So remember, the immune system is attacking the thyroid. The thyroid is releasing thyroid peroxidase. It's kind of like, when you were a kid, you put hydrogen peroxide on your cut and it would bubble up. This is bubbling up. And that bubble up is going into your bloodstream. And it's attaching to the back of your brain in the midline cerebellum. It can disengage your balance a little bit, can make you feel like you're a little wobbly or you're a little vertigo. It can make you feel very anxious and a little spinny. And it can also make you feel like you're very anxious in crowds. So this is a very, very specific thing to Hashimoto's. So we want to think about, first of all, overarching picture. How do we calm the immune system down to stop this attack, right? We want to think about getting off of gluten and dairy. We want to think about getting on vitamin D. We want to think about 200 micrograms of selenium. But I also want you to think about, like, how do we get your brain to like chill out back here? I will have you be working on, we talk a lot about some different kind of balance strategies, some different kinds of like retraining your brain to like not be affected by, like, if you're riding in a car and all of a sudden you feel nauseous and it's because you're Hashimoto's. So glutathione can be really, really helpful here. I've been having some good success with black cumin seed oil, black seed oil. That's a very strong anti-inflammatory, even stronger than turmeric. Isn't that wild? So it doesn't taste great. So I would not recommend getting the liquid and drinking it. I have a few of my patients that are legitimate. Like, I'm like, you're stronger than me, man. I can't drink that stuff. So, but capsules, fine. There's also a really cool supplement by Apex Energetics. I love Apex, FYI. They have a thyroFlam, just for FLM, thyroFlam, and it's for inflammation of the thyroid. It's for Hashimoto's. So it's got some selenium in there. It's got some black seed oil in there. It's a few other things in there. So helpful. So yeah, when your brain is feeling anxious and feeling vertigo and not feeling steady, It's exhausting. You're just trying to find your ground. Like you're trying to figure out how to feel steady. Okay. So that makes you also just exhausted because you're just trying to find your place in space. So is mine reactivated for EBV? Chrissy, let's see. So EBV antibodies, VCA, IgG greater than 600. So Chrissy, this is one of the most contested topics in functional medicine. I tell you, there are camps on this, right? There are people that believe that when you get over 600 on EBV, on an IgG, that it's a reactivation. There are people that say, the purists, the immunologists say, no, it's only IgM. So this is such a split decision. And I actually tend to be on the side of the immunologists because the immunologists are some of the freaking smartest people that I know. Amazing, brilliant, brilliant. The immune system is so complicated that for any of us to even believe we know what's going on, it's insane. But legitimately, we know some really good levers. We've seen a lot of stuff in practice. We're working on calming. I'm seeing people's labs. We're calming things down. We have really amazing functional medicine strategies, but it's a complicated system. So EBV being that high, you had it, your body made good antibodies toward it. This is like when you had COVID, right? You had COVID and you make antibodies and it lasts for a long period of time. Now, EBV antibodies are durable. They stay for a long time. COVID antibodies are not durable, so they don't stay. That's why we tend to have to like go, oh my God, I thought I had antibodies and they went away, right? I'm sure you have all experienced that. So EBV is a durable antibody. It's going to stay. So your immune system might be just jacked. Like I made antibodies. I made a ton of them. Amazing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's reactivated. We'd have to do an IgM test. So that might be something to do. Or when you're exhausted and you have autoimmunity, you're looking for a reason, right? The reason might be that the immune system is like, I'm attacking you and I'm stealing your energy. That's what it does. It's just such an annoying thing. So that might be making you exhausted. But the EBV that you originally were exposed to could have originally triggered your autoimmunity. That is an original trigger like nothing else. Okay. They're even doing some testing. They did some testing at Stanford and said, hey, funny, the people with lupus have high EBV in their system. Duh. Yeah. So the immune system's like attacking you and it's running out of steam to keep these viruses in the basement and keep the door shut. So now that door is open and here comes these reactivated viruses and make you even more tired. So we have to kind of go through you layer by layer. I feel like we're peeling onions. We're like, okay, let's stabilize your blood sugar. Okay, let's make sure you eat enough protein. Let's get enough veggies in you to grow some microbiome. Let's get your vitamin D in. Let's get your glutathione in. This is how my whole program works, is just like, let's start somewhere and let's work our way through, right? There's not an answer for everybody. That's why there's no recipe card. That's why not even, and in it, if you follow anybody who says autoimmunity is just this, it's BS. They don't know what they're talking about because it's so many things, right? The body's really complex. Does the Aura Ring have an EMF? I don't think so. And it's actually trying to communicate to my phone. So it's not like as strong as, say, my phone is trying to attach to a tower a mountain away, right? That's a strong EMF signal. This is trying to attach to like my phone that's like can't be more than 20 feet away, otherwise it poops out. So I'd say probably not much. I don't have an EMF meter, but most of my patients who are real sensitive to EMF seem to be okay with Aura Ring. That's just my own, patient sample size of probably 30, right? Who have reported in, who also have EMF sensitivity. Not everybody does. Do I read your labs if you join the group? Yes. So I will I will look at your labs. I'll give you a recap, and it's 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes to go over your labs. And then you pop into the group because you need to know some stuff. So yeah, absolutely. That's part of the group. You can just let me know. I take vitamin D's prescribed. So maybe 50,000 IUs, Wasa, maybe. They tend to do that. They tend to do a lot. I like to do 5,000 every day, So you're just like, you're getting, what is that, 35,000 a week. So yeah. Magnesium doesn't have any effect on my symptoms. Okay. Um, yeah, so here's the thing we want. This is the sleuthing I want to teach you guys is when you take a supplement, I want you to pay attention to how that makes you feel. Okay. If it changes how you feel for better or for worse, that's diagnostic. Some people are super sensitive to supplements and they say, oh my gosh, I can't take ashwagandha, or I can. It triggers me or it doesn't trigger me. This is the same way with food. I want you to pay attention to how food makes you feel, because food can make you or break you. Food is huge. We eat it all day. And if we're triggering ourselves all day, it can really tank you. So I do want you to pay attention to how food makes you feel and how supplements make you feel. Not everybody's the same, right? You can have a sensitivity to something, somebody might not. Okay, and you have a weighted blanket. I love those weighted blankets. They really help with that, trigger that parasympathetic nervous system, that calming nervous system. Love that. And you take copper to help absorb your iron. Perfect. Super smart. Now, I also hope that you are eating some meat, some red meat, or even chicken or shrimp or scallops or clams or whatever. They all have iron, and that's a particular heme iron that's easier to absorb than the mineral iron that we could take as a supplement. If you guys want any particular supplements or any recommendations, can you send me a DM on TikTok? Because I'll lose this thread when we're done, and then I won't be able to find it. So if you want to have anything, just send me a DM. It's super helpful. Okay, so yeah, I would say if you want to get your iron up, I need you to be a little bit more of a carnivore. Okay. I mean, I don't know if you eat red meat, but it really, really is helpful. Also, any kind of chicken, turkey, shrimp, fish, clams, mussels, it all has iron in it. It's all really absorbable. So choose what you like and make sure you're eating it consistently every day. You also want to make sure you have enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach. I work with a lot of patients with Hashimoto's and their T4 is not quite high enough. T4 drives the acid to go up in your stomach. It also drives your motility to keep your intestines moving. So if you feel constipated and you can't digest meats very well, your hydrochloric acid is probably low. Now, one of the reasons why that triggers too is, well, Hashimoto's, but also H. pylori. What if you have an H. pylori infection in your gut? It will lower your acid level. So that's something to test for. Okay. Crystalline, can you send me that in a DM? Send me your email in a DM and I will send you the ThyroCNV. Just give me your first and last name and then just give me your email. You can even send it to my email if you feel more comfortable with that with your email. Just send it to Dr. Darla Booth at Gmail. Just Dr. Darla, Darla, and then Booth. Dr. Darla Booth at Gmail. Just send me that and say, I want this link. Okay. I'll send it to you. No problem. Okay. Yes. Hey. Oh my God. Hey, Chase. Chase is here. Oh man, we love Chase. Chase works with Cyrex. Cyrex is the bomb. Cyrex is the best. I get to give a little talk for Cyrex, Chase, on Friday. I'm going to be talking to all these little practitioners about, I don't know, all the different type of arrays. So I got to get on it. So that'll be fun. So I hope you join. Yay. So yeah, Cyrex is the best place to do antibody testing. They do food panels. They do leaky gut. They do all sorts of things. It's amazing. So don't waste your time doing a leaky gut panel anywhere else. Don't do the blood spot ones. Don't do spit things. Just get your blood drawn. We want to do gold standard. Okay. Okay. What other questions do we have? Sorry, we have a lot of people popping on. Okay. So someone has post-radiation for breast cancer. Okay. Got it. So old coping skills have failed. You have inflammation. Okay, Anne. So here's what we're going to think about. First thing I need you to do, I need you to have protein at every single meal. Okay. I need you to have veggies at every single meal. Okay. Eggs count as protein. Okay. Meat and eggs, those are great protein. I want you to keep your blood sugar steady. I want your blood sugar to be rolling all day, not spiking and crashing. Spiking and crashing drives inflammation. So we have to steady you first. And then I want you to be on, things that can be really helpful for inflammation. Of course, turmeric is going to be helpful. Resveratrol is helpful. Black seed oil is helpful. But here's a really cool one. Fish oils have been really, really helpful for inflammation. There's a specific type of fish oil called SPM. So like spider, pelican, monkey, SPM. SPM they're called pro-resolving mediators, specialized pro-resolving mediators, SPM, and they help to resolve inflammation. So you could take a fish oil that's specific, it says SPM. That's super, super helpful, and that's going to be awesome. So that's going to be a really good thing for you to try. So that's what I would do. What else? Let's see. So many things to talk about. Okay, so here's a really good question. So doctor says false positive on ANA, smooth muscle, and anti-centromere. Been struggling with ITP since November. Why would that be a false positive? You have smooth muscle antibodies, and you have anti-centromere, and you have ITP since November. That doesn't sound false positive to me. That sounds positive. So interesting. And you've been struggling, so you've got symptoms. So here's the tricky part, you guys, is that you get these positive markers, and then it evolves into full-blown autoimmunity. Okay. So oftentimes we capture this in this stage where the rheumatologists are like, you're not bad enough. I can't do anything with you. Okay. They're waiting for you to get over here. Okay. So we've captured you in this early stage. That's like the gray zone. It's the weirdest place to be because you're like, I have markers, I have symptoms. But they're like, well, you don't have enough symptoms to get on medication. Okay. So, okay, fine. So what else are we going to do? What are the functional medicine strategies we need to do to calm this down? So Jennifer, I would say we got to figure out your food triggers. Either we need to do a Cyrex panel on you, check for leaky gut, check for food triggers. You could do an autoimmune paleo diet to figure out what are the food triggers here, right? What foods do trigger me and make me feel terrible, right? So autoimmune paleo diet could be helpful. If you get off of gluten and dairy, you might be surprised that you feel better. A lot of my patients tell me that. They're like, I hated it. I didn't want to do it, but I did it and I felt better. So I'm like, okay, there you go. So there's that. Also, get yourself on a good solid amount of vitamin D. We need to be on a good solid amount of probably glutathione, very, very helpful antioxidant that can calm down inflammation. So that's really helpful. You would be a really good candidate to come pop over into my autoimmune shift program if you wanted to have more support, because the goal is that we try to do small shifts with support each week. Figure out gluten and dairy, figure out other food triggers, figure out your blood sugar, figure out like anti-inflammatory supplements you need to be on, figure out whatever specific symptoms you have for digestion or overgrowth or, things that happen in our gut, right? That can really drive autoimmunity too. So I'm running into a lot of SIBO in my office this past week. I swear, every other person's coming and going, I eat food, I get bloated. I'm like, so either you're not breaking it down in your stomach well enough, or you have overgrowth of bad bacteria hanging out in your gut and we got to kill it. Otherwise, it can actually cause a lot of like leaky gut, and it can cause you it can drive some inflammation. So these are really things we want to really figure out. We can't just go around with like a bloated gut all the time. Something's happening. We got to dig in there and figure out what it is. Okay. So Jennifer, you're in the gray zone. This is where I live with all my patients, is the gray zone. I also have patients that are on medication that have full-blown lupus. No problem. We have to also braid in some functional medicine strategies to make that more successful, right? So wherever you are on this autoimmune scale, it doesn't matter if you're early or if you're late. It's like loading, right? So we want to figure out what are the strategies to calm this down. We want to be exercising, but only to tolerance. You can't over exercise. It's going to drive your immune system crazy and it's going to flare you up and then you're going to feel terrible. So there's a lot of things you have to know. And it's just like, it's the anti-gaslighting place. I tell you, people, you guys just get gaslit all the time. You don't have anything. There's nothing wrong. And you're like, I feel like garbage. And they're like, you're fine. It's so infuriating. Anyway, Sabrina wants to know if I've dealt with cardiac sarcoidosis, just diagnosed with lupus. Absolutely. So I have a couple patients who have pretty progressed lupus in my group, and my Tuesday earlier group, and we have been able to like get some of these symptoms to calm down. So it's all about not necessarily, we're working with inflammation, right? for all the stuff that's going on with the tissues, but also we're just trying to calm the immune system down so it stops attacking so much so that we can kind of get it to chill, right? That's the goal, right? And if we can keep a goal of just like getting it to be steady versus fast progression, that's winning. Okay. We're not going to make all these autoimmune diseases go negative. That is not, if I could do that, I would be getting the Nobel Prize for medicine, bar none. So it is a big thing. So we have to just know that we have to calm it down. Okay. All right. Do I have a practitioner program where I train practitioners? I do not, but my friend Robin Puglia does. What is her? Hold on, I can look this up real quick. Puglia, is that right? Yes, Robin Puglia. Let me tell you her information. Robin, ROBYNPUGLIA.com. And she's an educator. She's a clinical nutritionist. She's done the functional medicine program that I've done, but I'm a clinician and she's not a clinician. She's a teacher because she's a nutritionist. And she is an educator of with other doctors. She's great. She's really good. So yeah, that's a great place to go if you have a practitioner that wants to get more educated. Yamila says, I've been dealing with nausea for months now, every day, all day. What can it be? Hashimoto's. Okay. So nausea. So sometimes here's where I would go first. I would see what food you're eating, right? Do we know what's driving this? Is there a food trigger around it? So sometimes nausea can come from a gallbladder not working properly. So if your gallbladder is congested, it can be with Hashimoto's, because with Hashimoto's, your acid can get low in your stomach and then it doesn't trigger your gallbladder to squirt. So then we have this trickle and it doesn't detox well. Then your liver's backed up and it's not detoxing well through your gallbladder. So we have to work on that, right? So you can feel a little nauseous with meals if your gallbladder's not working. So that's something I would check out. The other thing I would check out is I'd probably do an H. pylori test on you. You could do an H. pylori breath test through Quest. Sometimes that can cause nausea. Also, do you have just some gastritis happening? Is your gastric lining just kind of inflamed? Oftentimes just some glutamine and some aloe vera and some marshmallow root and some slippery elm. Those guys can really be soothing for the gut and can like a little bit of ginger, maybe some zinc carnosine, super, super helpful to calm that down. So, yeah. Okay. So somebody says I take methotrexate weekly, but suffered when I take, what shall I do? Oh, that's so hard, right? So if you're on methotrexate, you're usually, progressed enough that we want to keep your immune system really calm with a medication. If that's not working, I would absolutely tell your rheumatologist or your doctor that you want to try something different. Sometimes hydroxychloroquine is an option. I love low dose naltrexone, LDN. It's been very helpful. And I'd say 50-50. Some people get on LDN and they're like magic. And then some people get on LDN and they're like, didn't help. This is why we don't know, right? It depends on what your body responds to. So if you're not doing well with methotrexate, there are lots and lots of other choices. Chase, I'm so excited too. Chase is with Cyrex. We love Cyrex. I'm like, I need to be part #1 fan club of Cyrex. I use them all the time. Let's see, what else? Okay, yeah. Let's see, cod liver oil. Is cod liver oil an SPM? It isn't. It is an omega-3. So that's helpful. And sometimes cod liver oil or just regular fish oils, super helpful with inflammation. Yes, we start that first. But this SPM is a whole different animal. It's an extract from the fish oil that's actually just these specific pro-resolving mediators, and it's very cool. So there's a few companies that are doing it. Metagenics is doing it. Thorne is doing it. Designs for Health is doing it. So yeah, not all fish oils. All fish oils have SPM in them. Okay. But if you wanted to distill it out. Okay. Jennifer says, very frustrating, fine speckled on the testing. Okay. Yeah. So they'll blow you off on fine speckled, right? Or dense fine speckled. They're like, oh, this is nothing, but it is something. Right? You have something early evolving. And the thing is with the ANA patterns is that you can change patterns. All of a sudden, it can be a more serious pattern. All of a sudden, it can be a less serious pattern. It can really shift. So when they aren't giving you any help, that means that you don't qualify for medication. Okay, fine. But we do need to really dig in, figure out the functional medicine strategies here, and really braid in some good strategies to help you figure this out. This is why I work with so many autoimmune people. And this is what happened, like, I don't know, a year ago. I had a patient that came in and was so frustrated. She was so frustrated. And we've been doing so many things. And I was like racking my brain going, what are we missing? I can't get this immune system to calm down. And then she came in with a plastic water bottle. And I was like, plastics are triggering you. Get off the plastics. The BPA, the BPS, all the BPs, all the microplastics, triggering to autoimmunity. So, but see, I forgot to tell her. And that's what really makes me so frustrated, is that there's so much to tell you that it's hard to tell you all individually. So this is why I'm making it into videos, so that I don't forget, and that I can make sure you've got all the content. And then you can come to me and say, I think I have H. pylori. And I'm like, thank God, let's fix it, or whatever. Like, yay. I'm so glad that you're learning, because I need you to go through, it's almost like you going through these steps of these videos and understanding and learning, and then you come out with your own thoughts and ideas, and then I can help you sift and sort that. And then we can put some functional medicine strategies into that. Okay. So that's why I do this program, because I can't remember everything. And it makes me so frustrated. If someone, I forget to tell them, like, go get a Yuka app, YUKA. I want you to scan stuff, your sunscreens, your hair gel, your shampoo, your toothpaste, all of the things that I want you to do, all the things. And you're going to find a rating on there, 0 to 100. 100 is perfect. 0 is terrible. So I was putting stuff in my hair that was a 0. Why? Because I didn't know. So then I found one that was 100. I used that one instead. Who cares? So I want you to go through your cabinets and get clean, right? I want you to get off the highly processed foods. It's triggering you for sure. It's spiking your blood sugar. It has gluten and dairy in it. It's got corn syrup in it. It's BS. Anyway, but just listen though. You guys are expecting your rheumatologist to know functional medicine, and they don't. And it's so frustrating, because they don't. First of all, they don't have time. They don't have time to talk with everybody about functional medicine, even if they wanted to. They've got 15-minute appointments. They're doing crisis care. They're putting you on medications, and they're sending you on your way. That's what they're doing. So when you don't qualify, that means that you're not bad enough. Okay, great. Let's do something different. This is the functional medicine strategies we braid in with the traditional medicine to make it better and make it work better. And we work with both. There's not one versus the other. It's both. Okay. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. We have to get the immune system to calm down no matter what. Okay. Fanny Lou wants to know what kind of glutathione. That's a great question. My favorite is Apex. Of course, they have one that's called trisomal glutathione, and that's a liquid one. It has a syringe liquid. Also, Quicksilver has a good liquid one. Designs for Health has a good liquid one. I think Thorne has a good liquid one. Those are great. Those are the best. IVs or injectable, amazing. Now, second best is going to be a capsule called AC-glutathione. Great. That works pretty well. If you can't do glutathione because it's made has a base of sulfur, some people are sulfur sensitive, you want to do an NAC, N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine makes glutathione. Great, take that. We just want more glutathione. There is glutathione in our body every day. We have it in our body already. We're just trying to maximize it because we have an autoimmune situation going on, and our immune system is like worn out. You're using a lot of your energy to fight your own body. It's like we're having a battle within ourselves. So give yourself some glutathione to calm that immune system down. And then make sure you're sleeping. We got to figure out your foods. We got to get you on vitamin D. I mean, I feel like a broken record. I have so many things to say. But Evelyn, I'm in Los Gatos, California, but I do a lot of stuff on Zoom. So about half of my practice is in person, about half of my practice is online. So you can always get a consultation with me if you want. There's a link in my bio. It's called Linktree, and you can click on there. There's a few things in there. There's a work with me. There's a join the autoimmune shift. Yay, come over. Please do. It's so fun in there. That would be fun. And also, if you want to get, like, there's a clicking on there that says for labs, the essential labs for everybody, and it's free. Just click in there and you can just pop on the labs that I like to have everybody run. So you could always download that and give it to your doctor and say, I'd like these labs done. Great. Chrislyn says, Hashimoto's hypothyroid having great results with nano glutathione plus B product liquid glutathione. I love that. Perfect. Glutathione it's the number one thing that my patients tell me, wow, that made a big difference pretty consistently. Every once in a while, I've run across somebody who can't do glutathione because they're really sensitive to sulfur. If like you're sensitive to sulfur drugs or something like that, that just means that we probably need to get you on some molybdenum to kind of manage your sulfur, but that's another story. But B complex is a big deal. Now, guys, liver detox pathways. Well, B vitamins do a lot of things, but let's talk about the liver. So the liver has a couple different detox pathways. One of them is glutathione dependent. Helps you to detox. Amazing. Also, one is a methylation vitamin, which is the methylated B12. So if you do methyl B and you do folate, that helps, the methyl groups help to on a detox pathway through your liver. Isn't that cool? So if you want to do a liver detox, just start with glutathione and a methylated B complex. Easy. All of it sounds so crazy, but I'm trying to make it really simple because it is pretty simple if you know all the stuff. Oh yeah, she says it tastes pretty awful. Yeah. So Chrislyn, I know I try so many different ones on glutathione. It's like I kind of like the Apex flavor a little bit better. I think that Quicksilver is doing a reasonable job, but it's very sulfury, right? She's gonna go squirt, squirt, move on, right? What do I recommend for toenail fungus? So oftentimes with toenail fungus, you're not getting enough blood flow to your toes or the tips of your fingers. Are your fingers and toes cold? Is your nose cold? Are your ears cold? Do you tend to get cold? We might not be getting enough circulation to the tips of your toes. So we want to think about more exercise. Exercise drives nitric oxide, which opens up the blood vessels. But also, you could take a cool supplement that's these nitric oxide supplements. Have you seen these guys? Nitric oxide is one that I like a lot. Of course, it's Apex. I swear I should say like Apex and I should say like Cyrex, and then I'll cover my bases. Anyway, the nitric oxide helps to open up the blood vessels. So I'll often give people this little shot of nitric oxide and then say, go for a walk, and it opens up their blood vessels and gets them better circulation to their toes and their fingers. That could be helpful. What's a good LDN dose? I am not a prescriber, so I don't know. I have naturopaths that I send my patients to, and I have great integrative medical doctors I'm sending my patients to, and they play with different dosages for LDN. Yeah. So if you have the ability to get some LDN, try it. Could I discuss parasitic possibilities regarding MS, nibbling on my spine, myelin sheath, and my brain? So, okay, parasitic possibilities. So anytime your immune system is overwhelmed by something, it could drive your immune system crazy. And your immune system could be like, I'm going to attack you and I'm going to attack a parasite, or I'm going to attack EBV or COVID or something, and some things are going to drive your immune system a little crazy. So, but your immune system is probably attacking your myelin sheath with MS. So we want to think about other triggers. I mean, if you feel like you have parasites and you've been tested or you have parasites, there are some very good anti-parasitic killers. I like a few different ones. Let's see. There's one called GI Synergy that has a really wormwood and black walnut and all the things that are all the parasitic killers, really successful. Here's the thing I would consider though. This is a weird thing. So I have a few patients who we've done 1 million things on them and they couldn't get their immune system to calm down. They've had really, really, really progressed lupus. And so they started with something called helminth therapy, which is actually parasites. They drink them down and they give the body parasites. And it's weird. It's like the immune system has something to do and it stops the attack on the self of your own body. So I get really careful about killing off things just for the sake of it's there, let's kill it. Because oftentimes the immune system will be like, oh, I don't have anything to do. I'm just going to I'm going to knock off myself now. It's like giving a Labrador a bone to chew on, right? Like they're going to be out of trouble and they're not going to chew your shoes up. So it takes a little bit for me to want to do heavy killing unless I for sure see that you have bloating and you have other symptoms going on. And then we start to kill it. And then if we notice that it calms your immune system down, we are on the right track. But I definitely am not like let's kill it all the time. You want to be careful. Yes. So Jessica, if all of your other tests came back negative, then yay. But also it's difficult because then you don't have a direction, right? This is why I'm trying to like give you guys a safety net. Like, here's some direction. Let's get your vitamin D good. Let's get you on glutathione. Let's heal your leaky gut. Let's get you sleeping. Can you not sleep? What about your hormones? Are your hormones dropping? Are they crashing? Did this happen after you had a baby? Did it happen when you popped into menopause? Like, there's so many things to consider. This is why I made a whole bunch of videos on like going through this whole program. And then we go, let's brainstorm this together. Now that you have the same knowledge as me, let's figure this out, right? As far as like, let's figure out how you are feeling in your own body and let's figure out what the next steps are for you. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I'm happy at answering general medical questions, Goldilocks, if you have a question. If I don't know, I'll just tell you. Endos are so disappointing. That disappointment takes the cake. Yeah. So invalidating. You're like, I have something wrong with me. And they're like, no, you don't. Here's the thing with standard of care. Like, it's classic with Stanford. Like, I'm here not too far from Stanford. There's UCSF in San Francisco, and then there's Stanford. Now, Stanford's very standard of care. They have their check boxes. They're like, you have to hit this box and this box and this box and this box, and then it turns into this particular condition. It's almost like AI bots, right? And that's great. There's no free thinking there. There's no getting curious about the root cause triggers or leaky gut or any kind of functional medicine strategies, because it's not part of the boxes. Now, if you go to UCSF, sometimes they're like, oh, curious. You have this thing. Let's try this alternative thing. Let's try this new thing. There's this new thing going on. And they're a little less checkboxy. Mayo's very checkboxy. So there's a lot of really big organizations that have great reputations that it can't and don't think outside of the box. And they don't train their doctors to think outside of the box either. And so that's their model, right? They train them to kind of not to think. Frustrating. I have severe eye dryness and I use artificial tears. Okay, you might have Sjogren's, right? Dry mouth, dry eyes, often comes with joint pain and fatigue. Something to know, you want to be doing the ANA markers. There's specific markers for Sjogren's. So we want to also think about other things though. This is your immune system, again, attacking eyes and mouth and fluid, right? So we want to think about vitamin D. We want to think about glutathione. We want to think about leaky gut. We want to think about your sleep. I want to figure out your hormones. I want to figure out looking at your labs and going, what's out of range, right? How do we get these all normalized? Whatever it is. How's your iron, right? How are your protein levels? Are you digesting your food? Are you breaking down your food? Or are you absorbing your food? I mean, and what about food triggers? It's endless, the things that we can sort out, but then you start getting a sense of your body. This is a learn your own body process, right? And then you're going to know a whole lot more about how to solve for this. Just started hydroxychloroquine, worried about my eyes. Absolutely. Right. So this is why we want to think about braiding in some other functional medicine strategies for you to see if, do we need this long-term? Do we need this forever? Can we do other things that can also calm it down? Maybe, right? I don't ever put it out any really super guarantees because everybody's super different. Listen, I had a patient who's part of my Tuesday earlier time group, severe rheumatoid arthritis. And I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this woman and I'm just like, and she lives in Georgia and I'm like, what is happening with you? And so then she got on a GLP-1 and her inflammation went away. And I was like, okay, amazing. Let's keep you on a microdose. Let's keep it going. Amazing. Incredible. I don't care. Let's figure this out, right? And it's got a very strong anti-inflammatory response. So anyway, Tammy says, I've been tested for RA and my levels are high, normal. Now they're saying it's frozen shoulders. Oh my gosh, Tammy, I had frozen shoulder is the worst thing in the whole world. I mean, I thought I'm going to die. This is the worst thing ever. It was so painful. So painful. So Tammy, I'm wondering about your hormone levels. Are you in perimenopause? Are you in menopause? Do you have an opportunity to get on hormones? Would that be helpful for you? Okay, my biggest success was I went to an orthopedist who does PRP injections. It's plasma. They do a blood draw on you and they spin out the plasma and then they inject it into the front of the joint and the back of the joint. And what it is, it's like you've got the shoulder and then you've got a capsule, and the capsule's like, it's like heat sealed onto it, and you can't get it to get off. So they do the PRP to kind of pull this capsule off, and then it can freely move. It was a bear, man. I fought that thing for 7-8 months. I thought I can't do this anymore. And then finally my friend did a PRP injection on me. I was like, oh, thank God. It was the worst thing ever. So Tammy, I worry about your levels being a high normal as far as RA. Do you have anti-CCP positive as well? It'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I think we need to think about calming your inflammation down, okay? Because we got to get somebody in there to try to help you with your frozen shoulder. My goodness. Oof, I am so sorry. Okay, yes, after a baby, this triggered. So, okay, you have this, you are pregnant, your hormones are like tip top, right? And then all of a sudden your hormones go bam and they drop, and then it triggers. So estrogen is anti-inflammatory. So when your estrogen drops, you can often trigger an autoimmune condition. Now, 80% of autoimmunity is women, right? So you want to look at the women above you, like your mom, your grandma, you have cousins, you have sisters, you have whoever they are. What women had this? Now, it could be man. That's 20%, right? Could be your dad, could be your grandfather. Did they have rheumatoid arthritis? Did they have lupus? Did they have something weird where their thyroid was off and they were on thyroid medication? It was 95% of people with low thyroid is Hashimoto's. 95%. So if you have low thyroid, I'm going to say, I'll bet you have Hashimoto's, and I'm probably going to be right. So these are things that we want to think about. We want to think about, does it make sense for you to look at some hormone therapy at some point? Is that could be clearly a way to kind of, we've seen what triggered it. Can we give you get you on some hormones? Would that help? Just a question, maybe. Why do I have bowel movements only every 3 to 4 days over a year? Scared to go to the doctor. Okay. So Brandon, I want you to think about, first of all, I want you to can you eat veggies? Does it make you bloated? I often say add more fiber, but for some people, they have overgrowth of bad bacteria and it can really seize up your gut. Oftentimes, when your intestines aren't moving, it could be a lack of fiber. It can be a lack of a lot of different things, of just motility, like you have this migrating motor complex that moves your intestines, right? But when you get super constipated, the intestines get kind of dried out, the stool does, and it's hard to get it all out. And so I would say, could you get tested for SIBO, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth? So oftentimes this story comes with an overgrowth of bacteria that creates methane gas. Methane gas causes you to be super constipated. So oftentimes we need to kill the bad bacteria that are the methane producing bacteria, and then we can get motility back and we can kill off those guys and we can get the intestines moving. Now, meanwhile, you could take some magnesium citrate. You could take some magnesium oxide. You could eat some artichoke. You could have some ginger. Artichoke can help. Magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate, 5-HTP. All those things can help. There's a motility zyme by Biotics that I like a lot. If you want a link, let me know. You could also just go to the store and get some magnesium citrate and just take 2 or 3 at night before you go to bed. You might need to really get your dose up to really get your intestines moving. Stay hydrated. I want you to drink water like it's your job, okay? I want you to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water, okay? And then I want you to take magnesium. And if you have bloating or if you feel like you might have overgrowth of bad bacteria, you need to get a SIBO test done. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to get that test done if you need some help. There's another one called that I could send to you that's called Trio Smart. And it sends you with a kit. And you drink this little glucose drink, and then you wait for an hour, and then you blow into this bag, and it tests for methane, hydrogen sulfide, or hydrogen bacteria, air coming out of your mouth. That's what the bad bacteria are producing. So that's something I could send to you if you want to do that test, or you could do it through your doctor too. Who's trained not to think? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Got to block a couple people that are just like, who's trained not to think? Well, it's interesting. I feel like that when you are, and I have a niece that just finished her OBGYN. She got board certified in OBGYN. She's now taking functional medicine training. And she says, the thing that what she's finding is that she has to learn all of the check boxes to be safe. And that is absolutely correct. But when it comes to like chronically ill people or autoimmune people, you got to get curious about this stuff and you got to dig a little bit and you have to be able to spend the time and ask the questions and figure things out. And it's, I think that a lot of doctors don't have that time. They have 15 minutes max. So they're not going to do that. And they're also like, you gotta really stop and be able to listen to the patient and try to understand what's going on. But I also do a big intake and I look at all their symptoms and I spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. So sometimes when you're frustrated and you're not getting what you need, you just need to go to somebody who is going to spend a little bit more time to try to like dig through and figure it out, right? It's hard. Anyway, what else do we have? They put me on Mobic for the inflammation, but I'm starting PT on 3:30. It's in both shoulders. Oh, Tammy, I'm so sorry. Okay, first of all, I would think about talking to your doctor about hormones. I don't know how old you are, Tammy, but if you're in perimenopause or menopause, which is the time that most of us get frozen shoulder, they find that low estrogen is a big deal for this. If you can do PT, amazing. If you feel like it's too painful, sometimes my patients will go in for steroid shots. That's been successful for some of my patients. One of my patients, we could not get her frozen shoulder to go away. She did PRP, she did PT, she did all the things. And she wound up going in and they actually cut the capsule to just stop it. So keep me posted, okay, Tammy? Because my heart goes out for you right now. It is such a nightmare. So if someone is offering a steroid shot, I would say, yes, please, 2. I'll take 2. And then maybe do PT because it might be too painful to do PT. I'm telling you, man. Woo. Oh yeah, Tammy, I'm so happy you hopped on today. I have that's a whole place in my heart is for frozen shoulder. Seems no one tests bloods correctly. Yeah. For hormones, especially correct phase in the cycle is so important. You're so right. And also they're not testing a lot of things. And here's the model. Go do all these labs. Come in. We have 15 minutes to go over it. How long does it take me to go over labs? I'll spend an hour just going over the labs because there's a lot to know, right? But I'm also running a lot of labs and they're going to run CBC, comprehensive metabolic. They're going to maybe run a vitamin D, maybe a TSH, maybe an iron if you're bleeding. That's it. So maybe a lipid panel. Okay, great. Sure. But there's a lot more you can run. There's a lot of things we can know, right? And we should. Why wouldn't we know? Now, if you have a great PPO health insurance, you can get a lot of this stuff run. But if you don't, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive, you need to know about Quest Cash Labs. Quest has done a great job of doing cash labs. So let's say I want to run a bunch of autoimmune markers and lipid panels and inflammation and the TSH and autoimmune thyroid and iron and lipid and CBC and everything, just everything, all the really good basic markers. It'll run $200. That's all. Now, let's say I have really good PPO health insurance and I'm going to go take my form to Quest and they're going to bill my insurance. You know what they're going to bill the insurance? $2,000. What's your copay? $200, maybe. So if you want Quest Cash Labs, it's not hard and it's not expensive. And if you need that help, reach out to me and say, I would like some labs. Happy to run it for you. Happy to read them for you if you would like. Happy to put your name and you run them and then you just take them to your doctor. However it works, but Quest Cash Labs never pay exorbitant amounts for labs. Just don't do it. Jesse says, so I have hypothyroidism. Does that mean I have Hashimoto's? Maybe. So that's what you want to get checked. So Jesse, I want you to run 2 markers. One is called thyroglobulin antibodies. One is called thyroid peroxidase antibodies. Thyroglobulin antibodies, thyroid peroxidase antibodies. They're Hashimoto's panel. It's not hard to run. Cash Labs, you could run it for $30. So easy. If you should find out if you have Hashimoto's because chances are you do. But see, here's the thing that's taught in medical school is Let's wait for the immune system to destroy the thyroid, and then we put them on thyroid medication. That's the standard of care. They're not trained in functional medicine. They don't know that there's ways to calm the immune system down, and vitamin D helps, and that glutathione helps, and we have to look for leaky gut. I mean, that's just out of their scope, and it's okay. Everybody has a lane, okay? Everybody's got a lane. I'm not a prescriber. I'll tell you what my lane is, and when you're out of my lane, I'll tell you. So, but you should get tested for Hashimoto's for sure. So, let's see, what else? I'm a breast cancer survivor and I can't take hormones due to being on estrogen. What would you recommend? I would get you on the SPM fish oils. SPM, Specialized Pro-Resolving Mediators fish oils. Very helpful for inflammation in the joints. I would say get on glutathione, very helpful with inflammation. You could get on turmeric. I would do a liquid turmeric. I like Apex's liquid turmeric. You could do a high concentration in like a syringe. I would also think about black seed oil. But yeah, there's so many things we could do. Lots and lots of things you can do. But yeah, those SPM fish oils are super duper. I'm on blood thinners, so I don't know if I can take hormones. I don't know, it'd be something you should ask your doctor about. Here is the thing, is that in 2001, they had that whole study that said, hormones are dangerous. And then they realized that they were studying with synthetic hormones and they weren't doing bioidentical hormones. Now they kind of do bioidentical hormones are like the patch and the oral progesterone. So it's different now. The American OBGYN Society in 2025 put out that the new standard of care is for women to be on bioidentical hormones unless they cannot do it because of some reason like a breast cancer or something like that. So you should absolutely be on vaginal estrogen when you're in menopause. Everybody should. 100% of people can qualify for that. No one is counted out of that. So you can talk to your doctor and find out if that's something for you or not. It's a nuanced conversation that everybody's having now. There's a lot of doctors that haven't been prescribing it for 25 years. And now they're like, wait, we're doing this again? How do we even do this? My niece, who's an OBGYN, is like, listen, I just got out of OBGYN training. She's actually a board certified OBGYN. And she says, I don't know how to prescribe hormones for menopausal women. We weren't taught. That wasn't part of our training. So she's figuring it out. So it's really weird. It's like the blind leading the blind, all this hormone stuff. I have opinions, but I'm also not a prescriber. But I'll give you some ideas and some thoughts to talk to your doctor about, right? Steroid. Okay, August said steroid shot did nothing for me. The chiropractor ended up helping with my frozen shoulder. Hallelujah for the chiropractors. Thank God. They can mobilize those joints and really get it done, right? So, and yet I have an office that I have chiropractors. I've got nutritionists. I've got 2 massage therapists. I've got a shockwave. I've got PEMF, red light. I've got a whole bunch of stuff in my office here in California, and nobody could help me. I had to go get a PRP shot. It's pathetic. Even I did shockwave. It's crazy. So it's for everybody has a different path. So I'm so happy you got helped, August, because that's a freaking nightmare. Okay. What do you recommend for myeloencephalopathy, chronic fatigue syndrome, MECFS? This is what they're calling kind of the chronic fatigue now. Okay. So this is a very long conversation, but I'm going to give you some things. I do a lot of brain work with people. I do a lot of brain optimization, neuroinflammation, prevention of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. I do that too. Those are my two, autoimmunity and that. Those are kind of my specialties. So I would run a lot of blood work on you and see what it looks like and fix what I find is what I would do. But also with ME/CFS, I'm looking for food triggers. I'm looking to see if you have leaky gut. I want to make sure that your diet's super clean, and I want to figure out if you have foods that are driving this, right? That are driving inflammation. Sometimes soy, sometimes gluten, sometimes dairy. I would put you on vitamin D for sure. I'm just thinking about the things I would do for sure without even testing you. I would put you on glutathione. I would put you on a supplement called NeuroFlam, Neuro, NeuroFlam. It's an anti-inflammatory that crosses the blood-brain barrier and it goes into the brain. So it's a very strong anti-inflammatory for the brain. So that would be something that would be easy to tell you right now to do. Lots and lots of thoughts and ideas around this. Um, Oftentimes there's a viral trigger and we need to figure out what the immune system is doing. So there's a really cool panel that Cyrex has that tells you like how the natural killer cells are working, how the lymphocytes are working, how are all these different things are working in your body. So these are things that are interesting to look at. It just depends. It depends. There's a lot of digging there that we have to do. I also wonder if you ever had a concussion or if you hit your head or if you have migraines or there's so many questions. Anyway, lots and lots of things to talk about. So, okay. So I'm just going to remind you guys that if you have autoimmunity and you don't know what to do, please click in to just join my autoimmune shift program. It's not expensive. I'm happy to help you. I can do one-on-ones with you. Our group goes over like all the different strategies on autoimmunity. It's so supportive, and we're talking about strategies, and somebody solved their Hashimoto's, someone's figuring out their lupus, and we're all figuring it out together. And I'm leading it every week on, it looks like I'm going to be doing Tuesdays at 4:00 on 4:00 Pacific. So I'm going to change that in my link tree because that seems to be the biggest demand. So if you want, jump in on my bio and just click in there and just click on the link tree and just pop in and join us. Chrislyn, I'm going to probably have this as my last question unless someone's having a dying question here, because I'm going to hop out and maybe make some dinner. The benefit for NeuroFlam. So NeuroFlam, there's flavonoids, like, like the vitamin C with bioflavonoids, they get a lot of it from like the rose hips, and they have a lot of bioflavonoids, quercetin, rutin, luteol, and apigenin. There are these little things. They're called bioflavonoids. They're part of the vitamin C, part of the rose hip. And they'll take those and they extract them and they just put them in a capsule by themselves. So when you take them, I give them, like, my number one driver on this was when everyone was getting COVID, and when you got COVID and you got such a bad COVID headache, it was like, you were just like, oh my gosh, I had the worst headache. People were pounding NeuroFlam. They were taking 6, 8, 10 of them a day, and the COVID headache was going away. And their brain fog was going away quicker. They felt better in their brain because COVID really does find the weak spot. If you have a open blood-brain barrier, or if your brain is susceptible, or if you've had a concussion, you're going to get the COVID headache right away. So that was really, really helpful to calm that down. It's a very strong anti-inflammatory for people, anybody with brain fog, anyone who's had a concussion, anyone who is having some sort of cognitive decline, anyone who's having word finding issues. If you have any brain type symptoms, you could take it, but I would take it at a dose that you would notice, like maybe 8 of them a day for like a week, and just see how it makes you feel. I mean, that's the thing with supplements that are brilliant, is that oftentimes you feel different, and then you're like, this is doing something. So then we figure out what the mechanism is behind that. Anytime that you have a supplement that creates a big effect, I want to know about it, because then I can probably tell you the mechanism of how it's helping and what to do about it. And how do we amplify that? How do we now push into that pathway and do more, right? Let's do all the things and get your brain really feeling better. Okay. Oftentimes my patients that can get on estrogen again, their brain fog lifts a bit too. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Not everybody can do estrogen, but if you can, would be something you could, talk to your doctor about. So anyway, I hope you guys pop over and join me on my autoimmune shift. You guys have been so great today. My specialty, sorry, I specialize in autoimmunity. I do a lot of autoimmune. I run an autoimmune program. Sorry, my phone just froze. I run an autoimmune program. So I run that because I need people to be all in one place, and I need to be able to talk to you in intensive periods of time. And I need to just really focus on you guys and really make sure you understand all the things you need to know, because it's a lot. I mean, and by the way, can we just all get off of plastics? Can we get off of the plastic water bottles? It is triggering autoimmunity as well. The BPA, the BPS, even worse. I mean, lots of problems with the plastic. The microplastics are getting stuck in the thyroid, and the immune system's attacking it, and in our joints and in our brain. It's quite a thing. So please, 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 can we get off the plastics? There's AquaTrue is a company that you can do a reverse osmosis water system on the countertop or under your sink. Super helpful. So that might work. So yeah, if you need some support, pop on there's a link in my bio if you want to join my autoimmune support group. I'm gonna get back on here tomorrow. I see patients all day, so I probably won't get on there. I'll probably get back on Tuesday about this same time. Okay. So if you want to pop back on, if you have other questions, if you want a supplement that I've recommended, you can give me a DM and tell me what you want with your email. And I'm happy to send you a link. If you need labs and you're not getting them, yes, I can take clients overseas for sure. Yeah, that's not a problem. This is all on Zoom. And one more quick question with Granny. I have ocular myasthenia gravis and Meniere's disease. You have autoimmunity. Meniere's is autoimmune too. Get on extra potassium, get off of salt. Let's get you on some vitamin D. Let's stabilize your blood sugar. We got to get you on some glutathione. Granny, I have an autoimmune shift program. Come over. You have autoimmunity. We need to calm your immune system down because every time you have an attack of Meniere's, you can lose some hearing in your ears. So we want to be really careful about that. Okay. So please reach out if you want some help. I'm so happy you guys hopped on. Thanks for taking the time. And I will, I'll see some of you soon. Okay. See you guys so soon. Hold on. My goodness. My phone. And it won't let me quit. It looks like I'm here forever, guys. It's like you're staying on forever. Cool. All right, you guys. I'll see you so soon. Can't get it to stop. Okay. All right, you guys. See you so soon.